Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, we're going to be talking about all things mortgages from a guy who is a real expert. In fact, he started out the hard way. He was a door-to-door salesman. That's just ahead on the Jeff Crilley Show.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
I absolutely love entrepreneurs with hustle, and I think I have hustle, but I don't have the hustle of Bob Johnson. He's with Bob Johnson, BobMortgage. Thank you for coming on the show.
Absolutely, Jeff. I'm excited about it.
I was mesmerized when I found out that you were once a door-to-door salesman. I mean, that's got to be the most thankless job in the world.
I did. I would make it could anywhere between 100, 150 sales calls, door-to-door, cold calls a day.
That's brutal.
Yeah.
It's brutal. But you kind of lucked into a job through this chutzpah, I would say.
Yeah, and it's interesting because it's my career. I mean, and a lot of people go to college and they do these different things and they have a calling and that they know exactly what they want to do before they ever do it. Mm-hmm. That's not what I had. I got into this industry, got into the career that's blessed me so much over the last 24 years by luck. I called on a mortgage company, didn't even really know it was a mortgage company. I said to the gatekeeper, the receptionist that said I made it a point to see Steve. She thought I said I had an appointment to see Steve. And the next thing you know, Steve comes out and says, I don't have an appointment. I'm like, I'm sorry, you misunderstood me. I said I made it a point to see you. And then he absolutely loved it and did exactly what he should have done, was get me into the conference room and sell me on getting into this industry.
And thank goodness he did.
Oh my God, I'm blessed. I mean, I look back at that and that was a life-changing moment because he did. And I asked him, I was like, okay, what does it pay? And he goes, it's unlimited. I'm like, well, great, but what does it pay? He goes, the sky's the limit. You go anywhere you want with it. And so basically I had to go to my wife and tell her that I quit my job. And she goes, oh my God, that's great. What does it pay? I'm like, it's unlimited. It's got great potential. And she's like, what does it pay? I'm like, it's straight commission.
Well, I know you're a good salesperson because you sold her on the idea and you guys worked together. So
we just figured out how to make it work on $19,000 a year because that's what she was making.
Wow, congratulations. So
Thank
tell
you.
us about the growth of the company over the years.
Oh, it's been amazing. I mean, I started out as just a single individual building my own little book of business, and I found that I could impact more people if I took what I know and what I had the most passion for and teach other people to do that. And it's afforded us to launch multiple companies. I mean, we're 5, 6 companies deep in what we've built over the years, and it's had some amazing successes, and of course you have those moments of challenge that test you as an entrepreneur, but we call those failing forward moments, not failures, because we didn't stop, we just kept going.
Very cool. Okay, we're going to talk a little bit more about the housing market in a minute, but there's a beautiful video on your website. Let's go ahead and roll that now.
And we execute. Whether it's a partner or it's a consumer, those are 3 things that they all want. Okay, education, as I've said, is priority number 1. We have to communicate to let people know how easy it is to buy a home. You guys don't know everything that goes into the home loan. Proactive communication is being able, since we're the experts, to answer questions before they ever have to ask it. And then I think the last thing is, we just do what we say we're going to do. We just execute. We have to close on time. We have to deliver at the payment, the rate, the out-of-pocket expense, so that you get, the home that you've been dreaming about. 23 years, 26,000 loans, you won't find a negative review. Doesn't mean we're perfect. We're not perfect, and you can't be perfect in a non-perfect world. Now, there's the ancillary type things. Yeah, you want to work with us because we understand $10 million down to $40,000 loans. We understand the people that need money, and that's why we're the #1 down payment assistance loan officer in the state of Texas, Seth Goldstar, that we can help people get into a home with no money out of pocket. We also understand the self-employed buyer, the one that writes off all of their income. We understand how to get them into a loan with bank statements. We understand the jumbo borrower, right? The big guy, the girl that's buying the $2, $3, $4, $5, $6 million home. USDA buying out there in areas where you may have 10, 15, 20 acres. The veterans are the best. We need to give loans to them, but we have to do loans through the VA, and they're the best type of loans because it's no money down, it's no mortgage insurance. Depending on their level of disability, they maybe don't even have to pay the VA funding fee, and they get waivers on property taxes. You got to have products for all of them. I think it's just really our genuine care for people and to make sure that they have everything they need and they're able to then execute.
Wow, I love that. Beautifully produced video. Where'd you get your marketing moxie from? I mean, because not everybody in your business knows how to market.
Thank you. I'm not afraid of being on camera behind a mic, and I think it came back to me understanding the power that your voice can have. You can choose to use your voice for good or for bad, and once you know that your goal is not to impact 10 million people, you just start impacting one. And if you can get to that point where what's coming behind the camera or behind that mic could impact one person, that's your one audience, then that could turn into 100 million people. And so I'd never worried about how many. It was just worried about one. And then I had an incident where, at my company, where I had to close a company down, one of my companies, and it was an embezzlement issue, and that company closed, and I had to go on the offensive to protect my brand. And I saw how important, obviously, having amazing PR, how that is so important to protect you as an organization, as an individual. And then I just turned that around when I started building my other companies and said, look, I learned a lot going through those walks in the desert at that moment, that I need to use PR, marketing, I need to use my voice for good to continue to put out the noise that I want people to hear and just educate.
And I know another secret to your success is your family. We've got some pictures. You have a beautiful, I'm going to call it like Norman Rockwell family. I mean, it looks like it could be out of a postcard or something. What about your family?
Oh my gosh, my amazing, wonderful, beautiful wife and I have been married for 24 years. We've worked together for 24 years. She's my rock and everything that really is allowed me to do what I do. I mean, she gives me the freedom to do everything that I do, and I can't do it without her. Now, we have two amazing daughters in there, a 16-year-old Liv and Vivian. My 14-year-old, they play beach volleyball.
Cool.
They play beach. We play in
that.
Bars, backyards, and parking lots here in the state of Texas. But Liv is actually now committed to play beach volleyball at Loyola Marymount University, LMU, which was her #1 school. She's going to play on the beach in Southern California. And then Vivian will hopefully soon follow, because that's her passion.
And so two girls and a lovely wife. Did you get outvoted on every movie?
I just watch movies when they're all in bed and on my iPad, so I can get the the adventure movies and the guns and everything else. So
absolutely,
I've learned how to be pretty good working with and communicating with women.
Very cool.
Yeah, they're very strong.
So let's talk about your nonprofit. I was fascinated to learn about this. We're going to put on the screen your website. Tell us about the nonprofit.
So there was a point in time in my life where when the big company I had, we had that trials and we had to put a CFO in federal prison, and we lost that company, and that gave me an opportunity in a moment in time to take a step back. And I went actually through my church, Highland Park United Methodist Church, to Costa Rica. And I got to sit in an area where we were digging ditches for 8 hours a day. And sometimes you think you're going there to transform other people's lives. Here's a big business person that's had all these successes, and I'm going to transform somebody's life when I'm there. Mm-hmm. And that's just the opposite. Your life gets transformed. And I met an individual, and he truly transformed my life, and he has a passion for that area because that's where he's from. And he didn't know how to start a business. He didn't know how to start a nonprofit. And I'm like, brother, I got you. I feel in my heart that you're tugging for me for something, and this is what I want to do with you. And we launched inviafoundation.org to transform people's lives, emotional, physical, financial, and spiritual. He and his wife actually are in Houston, and they run that day to day. I started it, co-founded it, and then was blessed to be able to take that step back because they know what they're doing, and they're great operators of it.
Wow.
So,
I don't know if you can see on the screen, but his eyes are getting moist. I mean, this is near and dear to your heart. It's really cool.
It is very important to me because it's about transformation, and we all go through different seasons in our life where we all need to have someone teach us some lessons, right? And as entrepreneurs, you think you can know it all, and we are going to go out there and we're just going to do everything we can. And sometimes you need to have that walk and have other people say, brother, I got you. I need you. Can you help me with this? And then it's like, all right, we're here to serve.
Wow. Well, I would be remiss if I didn't ask you about the housing market, because I remember at the very beginning of the pandemic, everybody was predicting it would just go off the cliff. And you guys have probably never been busier.
As an industry, we've never been busier. Obviously, we didn't want this to happen, the pandemic, and we don't want what's happening right now, what we all have to go through. But what's come out of it for the housing market and mortgages specifically is we've seen rates go down significantly. I mean, we were high threes, low fours when this pandemic happened, and all of a sudden now we're on the twos, right? So we're offering interest rates in the 2% range, which has brought in an amazing amount of refinances. People looking to pay off debt because they can take cash out of their house, pay off high interest rate credit card debt. We've seen people that just want to refi from a 30 to a 15, right? They were on a 30-year and now they can go to a 15 because the interest rates are lower.
Yes.
They're making more more payments towards their principal, and it's just helping them save tens of thousands of dollars. But then we're also seeing people that are in areas, let's say like California or New York, that have made decisions to move to Texas because we have different restrictions and things like that they have there that we don't have here. And they're finding that they can move here, have a little bit more freedom and flexibility, but their dollars are spending a lot better. They're getting a much bigger house for a whole heck of a lot less money here in the state of Texas.
So talk to me about how your philosophy about business and how your company is different than others.
I think the big thing with my company, Bob Mortgage, is we're here to serve. First and foremost, I'm here to serve and to educate, right? You will find that I will put out so much content on a daily basis that gives you everything that you need to do to go do it yourself. But at the end of the day, I feel that value earns loyalty and trust, and then that converts that individual into a passive audience goer, right, to somebody that really wants to engage and then ultimately do business with me. That's a big thing that is different than most companies. I'm a media company along with being a mortgage company, and that I feel serves my audience much better.
Amen, brother. We're gonna put up both websites. We'll start with your nonprofit, and if you would give me the domain.
inviafoundation.org.
Awesome. And then your for-profit is Bob Mortgage.
Yep, BobMortgage.com. Pretty simple.
Outstanding. Bob, you've been an amazing guest.
Oh, Jeff, I appreciate it,
Very
man.
cool.
Thank you very much.
Looking forward to having you back again.
Absolutely, sir. Thank you.
You bet. That's it for now. We'll see you next time.